icon in international aviation. One of Europe's first transatlantic airports, home to the longest runway in Ireland and the world's first duty-free.
This is great. This is what it's all about.
But recent years have been tough, with a huge decline in passenger numbers. Now Shannon's fighting back, with a new boss and new ideas.
I think ideas are important. You need to do things differently and you need to do different things.
But it won't be easy, as the staff take on the challenges of reviving Shannon's fortunes while dealing with the day-to-day demands of an international airport.
I'm the housekeeper. I mind the fort. I do what needs to be done.
Coming up, a transatlantic emergency.
His problem is here. He either stop, you could evacuate, you just don't know what to do.
Big changes at the duty-free.
I'm probably upsetting everybody in the entire airport right now.
And the world's champion comes home. Shannon Airport on Ireland's west coast helped establish the first transatlantic commercial route in the 1940s. Even today, its location makes it a prime destination for passengers crossing the Atlantic Ocean. It also makes it one of the busiest airports in the world for intercontinental emergency landings.
Ground Rescue 12, can I join Rescue 19 as well, please?
Airport Police and Fire Officer Brian Corry is racing to meet a stricken Aeromexico Boeing 787 that's coming into land.
That's one of the latest aircraft on the move at the moment. It's the 787 Dreamliner.
Information on what's gone wrong with the Dreamliner is unclear, so all of the airport's emergency units are responding.
Depending on what his problem is here, he'd either stop and wait for an inspection, or he could evacuate and you just don't know what he'll do.
Ground Rescue 1. The aircraft is requested to taxi to the apron. Have you observed that from visual inspection of the aircraft when he's moving? That's a negative ground. There's nothing unusual from an initial look from the rear of the aircraft.
With no outward sign of fire or damage, the plane taxis to a stand to offload passengers before its cargo hold can be investigated.
Passengers are off, so he doesn't want to open the cargo door until he's cleared the building. Just again, not knowing what's the problem. So we're going to push it and tow it to parking area 11 out here. So it's remote. It's away from the terminal building in the event of something escalating. He's obviously got warning signs or the temperatures have risen or something, and it's all precautionary at the moment when you don't know what's inside it.
With the Dreamliner a safe distance from the terminal and the pilot finally disembarked, it's time to open the cargo hold door. Thankfully, there's no sign of smoke or fire, and after a full inspection, everyone can stand down.
That's it. All's clear.
In aviation, safety is always the highest priority. So for airlines, an emergency landing at Shannon is a cost and inconvenience worth paying. And for Brian, it's all part of the job.
We've had a couple of them that you're standing by until the doors are open and you don't know what's behind and temperatures are up and this and that. So they're common enough occurrence. And when there's nothing there, you just neck up and you go back to the station and you wait for the next one.
Since 2008, Shannon Airport has had a tough time. Routes and jobs were lost in the economic downturn, leading to a big drop in passengers. Something had to be done to reverse the decline. So in 2013, the airport became independent and appointed its first CEO, Neil Pakey.
For me, coming here was a land of opportunity. Coming in at that time, you could see potential, give it a rebirth, really, rediscover its former glories.
And there's more at stake than just the airport.
Shannon's one of those airports that's really important to its community, for all the businesses in that area and to the west of Ireland. So our role really is to give them what they want and what they need, which is more flights and more people on those flights.
With over 20 years at the top in aviation, Neil is no stranger to airports and is famous for doing things differently. It was his bright idea to rename Liverpool's airport after John Lennon, a hugely successful public relations coup.
On that X there.
Neil wants to bring that same spirit of invention to Shannon, even in the lobby to his offices.
This wall represents our values. So we've got a wall of quotes from Aristotle to Muhammad Ali, from Michael Jordan to Mother Teresa, from Henry Ford to Oprah Winfrey. 6 unlikely people if you were to think of them all in a room together. We've used Mother Teresa as a quote. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. So that's the effect an airport can have over its whole community. This is where duty-free was invented. This is where the free zone was invented. It's got a real history of innovation. So we have to live up to the people of the past who made this place what it is. And the only way we can really do it all together is through teamwork. And as Michael Jordan said, talent wins games, teamwork wins championships.
As part of Neil's renewal of Shannon, he wants the world's first duty-free to get a makeover. Opened in 1947, the duty-free was the brainchild of former catering controller Brendan O'Regan.
Transit passengers from all over the world enjoy shopping in this unusual and exciting place. A sort of fairyland into which they wander as soon as they leave their planes during refueling stops.
The duty-free was an immediate success, and today accounts for over 20% of the airport's turnover.
Shannon Duty Free is a fantastic brand. It needs to be reborn. We need to reclaim the brand, reclaim the glories that once was Shannon Duty Free.
Neil has handed the task of the important transformation to new head of retail, Darren Smith.
That's going to be O'Regan's food store. Okay, so Mr. O'Regan's food store. So that's a complete whole new fit out and a much broader offer than we have now. And this is going to be the best of Irish food.
Central to Darren's ambitious plan is a new 20-foot shopfront window.
A plate glass window going in here, which is actually a trickier job than I thought because it's in one piece. So even how you bring it into the airport, that's something that I hadn't considered at the beginning, but I've been learning as I'm going along. Really what we're looking at is 80% of the store being rebuilt in 4.5 weeks. We'll have to hustle a little bit and we'll have to be inventive, but we can do it.
So can we say 4 weeks then?
No, we can't. We can't say 4.5.
Neil wants the revamped duty-free trading as soon as possible. New routes opening at Shannon have led to an increase in traffic. But that increase in planes brings a new problem: where to put them all. Operations Director Niall Maloney has been called in to find a solution.
We've been handed a good problem. Increased traffic. I think the key challenge for us will be the wide-body aircraft. We've only 6 wide-body stands.
Shannon has 6 wide-body aircraft stands. At peak times, all are full, with no room for unscheduled arrivals.
What are we going to do with any transit traffic, any military traffic, any medical traffic we may have during those hours?
It's 10 a.m. and Shannon is near full capacity. Niall is in the terminal to see how the airport is managing the traffic.
We're in our boarding gate area post US pre-clearance, and this morning is a typical busy morning here.
Shannon provides pre-clearance to passengers travelling to the United States, making it a popular stop-off for transatlantic traffic.
We get 6 wide-body aircraft come in from New York, Newark, Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, all coming in early morning, and the key challenge is to turn them around as quick as possible and get them out.
But this morning, the airport has accepted 2 extra private transatlantic flights that need to be accommodated.
I know we have 2 extra planes thrown into the mix going through this clearance.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Okay, the first one we were quite stuck, so what we decided to do was just put him onto stand 22, and the other guy we have, he's a 757. He's going to send 339.
3-9. Okay,
Just-
pretty busy out there this
So
morning.
it's busy enough yet.
We have 2 executive jets going into pre-clearance. We're trying to accommodate one on the pier, but the executive jet will park in one of our taxi and taxi out stands. Each day it's like a game of chess. One piece moves and another piece gets delayed or comes early. So to be fair, it's very dynamic. Every day is a very dynamic business.
But now, Niall has spotted another problem.
Hello, Seamus. Niall here, Seamus. Look, I'm just out here in the stand, checking on stand 37, United Chicago flight. What time is the British Airways now showing? 11:07. And this is due to leave at what time?
The departure of a United Airlines flight has been delayed, and with a special all-business class British Airways plane scheduled to take its space, it's going to be very tight.
A United plane going to Chicago is behind me. The British Airways 001, which is coming into London City to go on to New York. So 2 aircraft allocated to the same stand. So obviously you can't put 2 into one.
With each seat on BA 001 costing up to €7,500 one way, any delay is unacceptable. However, this time, Niall is unable to do anything. All he can do is watch as the ground crews race to get the United plane off its stand. The United flight manages to get out just in time, and the high-flying execs on board the BA flight are none the wiser.
One steps out and one steps in. So the United has just left, the British Airways just in. Just a time arrival, just a time departure. A tight fit.
It's job done, and tomorrow they'll do it all over again. In departures, work on the duty-free revamp is in full flow. But now, with less than 2 weeks to deadline, Darren is feeling the pressure.
Let's put it this way, I'm sleeping at night because I'm tired every evening when I go home.
Darren's biggest concern is the standout feature of his refurbishment, an enormous plate glass window to be installed at the main entrance.
No glass yet anyway. Let's hope they're gone on lunch. This is very important. This is going to allow them to see right down through the shop. The truth is, I don't know exactly when the glass is going to be done.
At the other end of the duty-free, the new Irish section is being created from scratch.
So is your plan then to have that done today and finish this in the morning? And you're out of here then tomorrow evening? On time? You're the man? So we're right down at the end of the shop here. So the key for us is when the customers are at the other end, that this is strong, visually entertaining. We're going to do lots of props. If we can get them as far as here, then we've succeeded.
But at the moment, Darren's only succeeded in giving everyone a headache.
It's a little bit noisy and the customers have been complaining, but it's all for the good, so hopefully it won't progress any longer than the next couple of days.
There's an air of excitement around Shannon. Andy Lee, the newly crowned WBO middleweight champion of the world, is returning home. For teenager Tom O'Reilly, it's worth a day off school.
I mean, it's a word, like, you know, it's not like every day you get an Irish world champion, you know. It'd be cool to see him as well. He's exciting, like, to go boxing.
And Mum is more than happy to take him to see his hero.
Well, I think this is part of education, you know, and if you're interested in the sports and if this is somebody that you really want to see, I think it's worthwhile.
Anything really, it'd be cool to just see him with the belt and everything, like, because not often you get to see that kind of thing, you know. It'd be cool, I don't really mind anything.
And you have your autograph book.
Yeah, the autograph book and everything, so, you know.
And I have the camera.
The whole event is being run by duty manager Carmel Donlan.
The build-up is to get everything prepared, everything ready. 3 of our flight tenders are on the ramp and they're going to do a water cannon salute. So once the aircraft comes off our main taxiway, he's going to actually taxi through a water cannon and then on to stand. This is great. This is great. This is what it's all about.
On Unfortunately, the spectacle of the water cannon salute gets a little lost in the pouring rain.
Oh, it's very windy.
But it doesn't dampen spirits. After a brief soggy photo for CEO Neil Pakey, Carmel dives in for her own memento.
Now, I met Mike Tyson. I got my picture taken with Mike Tyson a few years ago. And Tom Hanks. And now Andy Lee. How good is that? It's great.
In the chaos of the media scrum, Tom will have to wait to get close to Andy. But as the crowds clear, he finally takes his chance. Before the champ is whisked away,
Great day.
and Tom can head off to school.
Oh, it means so much, you know. First, probably the only champion I'm ever going to meet, you know, so it means a lot. So I never want to forget this, like.
Shannon Airport Duty Free is in the middle of an ambitious redesign. With only a few days to its completion deadline, Head of Retail Darren Smith is trying to stay positive.
A little bit tired, but I am 100% confident. And even if I wasn't, I'm going to continue to sound like it anyway.
While the new Irish goods section is coming together nicely, there's still a big hole where the new shop front window should be. But Darren is about to get a much-needed lift.
Glass is here. Are you serious? Yes, sir. If the camera wasn't here, I'd give you a kiss. Thank you. You're the man. Are you going to keep off my back now? I was never on your back. We are the best of friends, the two of us. The best of friends. Good man.
Now all that's needed is to get the 20-foot, half-ton plate of glass into place.
I actually thought it would be bigger, but it is big.
Oh. I always knew the glass would arrive on Friday. It's going to be lovely. I'm delighted with that now. The plan is coming together. We have more behind us now than in front of us, so we're making progress.
In departures, Aer Lingus manager Mike Maloney is meeting a passenger travelling with a national treasure.
Just going down to the check-in area, Declan O'Sullivan, the Kerry footballer, and his wife Michelle are going to the States, and they're bringing the Sam Maguire Cup with them. So we have some arrangements in train to deal with that precious piece of equipment. We just want to see whether or not we can fit that on board the aircraft or whether it's going to go into the hold.
Declan's off to a New York GAA function, but it's by no means the only trip stateside for Sam this year.
I think this is going to be his third or fourth time going to America this year. I think it was over in New York back in November, and San Francisco twice, and Boston as well, so it gets around. You can't leave it out of your sight, so it's a big responsibility, but the reaction you get all over the world when it goes there is amazing. People just love to see it. There's so much history and tradition with the Cup. Well, then I have relations over in America, my uncles and aunts and stuff like that, so they're really looking forward to seeing it. I'm going to their house tonight, and all the family are coming around to take pictures and stuff, so that's really special for me and for my family as well. Yeah.
Is that it?
That's the case.
Okay. It's big, alright, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say looking at the size of it, it's probably better off in the hold, isn't it?
Perfect, yeah.
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 Are you okay with that?
That's perfect, yeah.
Okay.
we have the cup for the year, and then there's just a book in the county board office where people book it, and it's booked out for every day for the whole year. So people are well used to taking it and looking after it, and never had any major incidents so far. So hopefully this weekend won't be any different.
But before Sam heads for the plane, Mike can't resist getting his hands on it.
It's huge, isn't it?
It's big, yeah. There's a big base that's underneath as well, which obviously we don't take around. So.
Okay. There isn't too many Clare films to get a hold of this. Yeah, isn't too often you see a Clare man getting to hold the Sam Maguire over his head.
Then everyone wants to go.
Because it's an outsized item, it's got out what's called the out-of-gauge belt, and then we're going to meet it at the other side, and we'll have our ramp staff pick it up, and we'll have it loaded in the hold and have it secured. So basically the cases come through with the Sam Maguire in it. We will be informing our colleagues in JFK of the importance of it. So when it arrives there, it will have been specially loaded here, they'll know the location of it, and they'll, I think, realise the importance of it, at least from the Irish perspective when it gets over there.
Once Declan's settled in his seat, Mike can personally ensure the precious cargo is loaded safely on board,
All wrapped up safe and sound.
leaving Sam to rack up yet more air miles. It's deadline day for the completion of the new duty-free and the moment of truth for Darren. His prized shopfront window is finally in place. Now it's all down to what his boss Neil thinks of the makeover.
Moment of truth. It'll be fine. I'm a bit nervous.
Oh yeah. Where do we start? This is job done on time.
Job done on time and trading, which is the most important thing. So the window, we had great fun with the window.
Have you got any figures so far, or are we?
We have.
Is it too early?
It's too early, but we've already got a spike. So I'm not going to tell you what the spike is. Let's see if there's a bit of consistency for a couple of weeks, because it's early days. But we are selling more than we were, and the feedback from the customers and the staff is really good.
Do you know something, for the end product and to see how good it looks, you don't even think about how bad it really was. It's just a little blip in the sales and everything else for Shannon, but now it's onwards and upwards, hopefully.
And in a tribute to Brendan O'Regan, the founder of the original duty-free, the Irish goods section has been renamed.
In a very short space of time, we've had a tremendous reaction to this.
Right.
We've a little bit of fine-tuning on the product.
Right.
But it's and we went with the black and white tiles, that old kitcheny look. And,
yeah, that's good.
And because it's Mr. O'Regan's, all the unitary, it's a masculine sort of a look. Okay, so that's what we're going for in here. If this was Mr. O'Regan's shop, we think this is how he do it.
It all started here, and Shannon Duty Free resonates across the industry as a brand, as a name. So important for us to get it right.
The revamp gets the official nod of approval, and Darren can breathe a sigh of relief.
There was things went wrong, but things always go wrong, and they're hectic and very fraught. But we got there in the end on time, which isn't always the case. So it worked out very well. So I am pleased.
Next time, the world's biggest plane touches down.
There's only one in the world, so it's special.
A rugby giant is unveiled, and love is in the air.
This is my moment.